Now to developments in southern Lebanon, with the IDF conducting an overnight raid, capturing a senior terror suspect. Airstrikes against Hezbollah continue amidst an ongoing effort to counter threats near the border. Now, under the US-brokered ceasefire that took effect in late 2024, Hezbollah was expected to demilitarize near the border, while the Lebanese armed forces moved to assert control over weapons in the south. More in this report.
Israel says its forces carried out a rare overnight ground operation in southern Lebanon, capturing a senior terror operative as it continues a wave of airstrikes against Hezbollah targets across the country. According to the IDF, special forces crossed into Lebanese territory in a targeted raid aimed at apprehending a militant linked to the Muslim Brotherhood, who was allegedly involved in planning attacks against Israel.
A senior terrorist from the Jamaah Islamiyah terrorist organization was apprehended overnight by IDF troops during a targeted intelligence-based operation in the Hardov area. The terrorist was transferred for further questioning in Israel. Weapons were also located at the site. Throughout the war, the Jamaah Islamiyah terrorist organization advanced terror attacks against Israel and its civilians in the north.
This operation came as Israel continues to strike Hezbollah positions in southern Lebanon. The military says the airstrikes targeted operatives, weapon sites, and infrastructure used to coordinate attacks. Lebanese media reported explosions in multiple areas in the south from aerial strikes, resulting in the deaths of 3 people.
The IDF attacked earlier today in the Yanua area and killed the terrorist Ahmed Ali Salami, who served as an artillery commander for the Hezbollah terrorist organization. Prior to the attack, steps were taken to reduce the chance of harming civilians, including the use of precision weapons and aerial observations. The IDF deplores any harm to uninvolved people and is doing everything possible to minimize harm to them.
But Israeli officials have repeatedly warned that progress has been limited, citing Hezbollah's continued efforts to rearm with Iranian backing and calling full disarmament essential for long-term stability and security. The combined ground raid and aerial campaign are intended to prevent imminent threats and stop militant groups from entrenching themselves along the frontier. The escalation underscores the fragile security situation along the Israel-Lebanon border, where tensions have remained high since the war in Gaza triggered nearly daily exchanges of fire with Hezbollah. Israel has repeatedly warned it will act wherever necessary to stop attacks on its territory, while international mediators continue efforts to prevent a wider regional conflict.
So for more, security analyst Jonathan Regev is here in studio. Thank you so much. We just heard in that report a senior terrorist from the Jamaah Islamiyah terror group captured in this very unusual ground operation overnight. What details can you glean from that?
So what we understand is that an Israeli force crossed into the village, which is roughly 5 kilometers or so north of the border. And it's a very difficult topographic area, meaning this area of Mount Dov is very steep. It's not just a highway in which you walk. It's quite a difficult topographic area. And yet that force went in without being noticed, snatched the man, found out whatever there was inside the home, and brought him back. There's a lot of deterrence to the other side when you carry out such a successful operation quietly, and it's only found out once the army reveals it in the morning. And Israel wants to try to, the days in which Israel is waiting for the other side to be the proactive one, and Israel only reacts, Israel is sending the message that this is over. If we go back 2.5 years ago, an operation of this kind, Benita, we'd be unable to think of crossing into Lebanon, kidnapping a man, bringing him back, and expecting no response whatsoever from the other side, especially Hezbollah. This man does not come from the ranks of Hezbollah, but anything happening in southern Lebanon, Hezbollah would immediately react. And this is, as you mentioned, a significant operation. So far, for the moment, we're seeing quiet on the other side, along with the tactic of Hezbollah, for now, remaining quiet. What tomorrow brings, we never know.
Security analyst Jonathan Regev, appreciate the update. Thank you so much. Now to the latest from inside the Gaza Strip. 4 Palestinian gunmen have opened fire on Israeli soldiers in Rafah after emerging from a tunnel earlier on Monday. The soldiers returned fire, killing the 4 terrorists. No one else was hurt in the gun battle. The IDF says the attack is a blatant violation of the ceasefire between Israel and Hamas. So we now go back to our correspondent, Joe Brown. Once again, he joins us from the Israel-Gaza border. Joe, phase 2 of this Trump peace plan for Gaza is in motion, and yet Hamas terrorists are still emerging from terror tunnels in Gaza. What is the latest there?
Benita, almost every day the IDF is saying that Hamas is breaking the ceasefire agreement by firing towards the IDF soldiers on the yellow line. As part of phase 2, the IDF was supposed to withdraw from the yellow line into the red line with the implementation of the International Stabilization Force. No country has agreed to put any boots on the ground to create this force. So in the meantime, these violations are continuing to happen. The one today is the second time this week that has included terrorists coming out of a tunnel shaft in Rafah. If you remember, just after the ceasefire agreement, there were talks that there were 200 terrorists in these underground tunnels by Rafah, and they were hoping that there would be an agreement between Israel and Hamas to let them have a safe passage either into the Gaza Strip or even outside the Gaza Strip. That never materialized. Most of them have reportedly been killed or captured by the IDF thus far, but today has shown that there are still likely some who are still there, who were waiting to see if a deal was reached, and they are out to try and attack the IDF who are on the yellow line, and that is once again stopping phase 2 from entering its main phases.
Correspondent Joe Brown, live on the Israel-Gaza border. Thank you, Joe.